As Jesus and his disciples sail across the lake from Galilee, they arrive in the desolate region of Gadara. The moment Jesus steps ashore, a man possessed by many demons rushes toward him, crying out in fear and desperation, "Jesus, Son of the Most High God, what do you want with me? I beg you, don't punish me." Jesus commands the evil spirits to leave the man and demands their name. They reply, "Legion," for they are many. Trembling before his authority, the demons plead not to be cast into the abyss, but to enter a herd of pigs grazing nearby. At Jesus' command, the demons leave the man and enter the herd of pigs. Suddenly, the entire herd rushes down the steep hillside and plunges into the lake, drowning in the waters below. The herdsmen, terrified by what they witnessed, run to the town to tell everyone what had happened. When the people arrive, they see the man who was once possessed now clothed, calm, and in his right mind sitting at Jesus' feet. Overcome by fear, they beg Jesus to leave their region. As he prepares to go, the healed man pleads to follow him, but Jesus sends him home to share God's mercy. The man who had been freed from the demons stands transformed, no longer wild or tormented, but filled with peace and gratitude. He falls before Jesus, begging to go with him, longing to stay near the one who gave him new life. Yet Jesus gently tells him, "Go back home and tell how much God has done for you." Obediently, the man returns to his town, proclaiming throughout the region the power and mercy of Jesus. His story spreads quickly, and all who hear it marvel at the miracle, realizing that God's love can restore even the most broken soul. As the man journeys home, his heart overflows with joy and purpose. Once chained by darkness, he now walks freely beneath the light of God's grace. Every step becomes a testimony of redemption. In the villages and marketplaces, he tells everyone what Jesus has done, how the power of God delivered him from despair and restored his soul. People listen in awe, for they remember the man who once lived among tombs, feared by all. Now, his peaceful eyes and gentle words reveal a living miracle. Through his story, many hearts are stirred, discovering that God's love can heal and renew anyone who believes. As the man's testimony spreads across the land, lives begin to change. Those who once feared him now see in him the power of God's mercy. Families, neighbors, and strangers listen to his story and find hope in their own struggles. The darkness that once ruled Gadara slowly gives way to faith and wonder. Through one man's transformation, a whole region witnesses the truth that God's power is not only to destroy evil, but to heal and restore hearts. The man, once lost in despair, becomes a messenger of light, proclaiming that love and faith can overcome even the deepest darkness. As time passes, the memory of that day in Gadara remains vivid in every heart. People still speak of the stranger who calmed storms and set captives free. The healed man continues to share his story, reminding everyone that true freedom is found not in strength, but in surrender to God's love. His words touch the broken, the fearful, and the lost, those longing for light in their own darkness. Through him, the message of Jesus spreads beyond the hills and valleys, that no soul is too far gone, and every life can be renewed by the power of divine compassion. Years later, the man often returns to the quiet shores where he first met Jesus. The waves remind him of that day, the chaos, the deliverance, the peace that followed. He no longer fears the shadows of his past. Instead, he sees them as proof of God's mercy. Each sunrise feels like a promise that light always overcomes darkness. His heart remains steadfast, filled with gratitude and faith. Though Jesus has gone to other lands, his presence lives on in the man's spirit. Through his life and testimony, countless others come to believe that healing begins when the soul meets divine love. As the man looks back on his journey, he realizes that his deliverance was more than freedom from demons. It was the birth of a new life. Once defined by fear and isolation, he now walks in purpose and peace. His story becomes a living testimony of God's power to transform pain into hope. Wherever he goes, people recognize the joy in his eyes, a reflection of the Savior who restored him. The land of Gadara, once haunted by darkness, now echoes with faith. Through one man's redemption, the light of Christ continues to shine, calling every heart toward healing and renewal.